On this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast, we are going through Furnace Fest bands. We go through each day and we talk about the bands that we are excited to see. Kyle ranked them as have to see, would like to see, and don't really care to see. And I went through the top 10 bands that I wanted to see each day. So we go through each day and we compare notes and see where we might end up seeing some of these bands. And then we have some disagreements on some, and we have some bands that might surprise a few people. So if you are headed out to Furnace Fest, let us know which bands you're going to be catching, which bands you think that we got absolutely wrong, and would love to start some dialogue around this. But for now, let's open this pit up.
Somebody hit somebody!
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast. I am Kyle, and I've been asked to conduct today's episode. I'm here with Trevor. What's up, man?
Not much, man.
I feel like these intros are getting a little stale, so I gotta add like a little bit of flavor.
I mean,
you
do
know?
we really need an intro at this point? Like,
I don't know. Maybe
name,
people are
name
maybe
and get
people
into
are,
it.
Yeah, maybe people are just tuning in. This is the first time,
Well,
and they want to know who's who.
maybe, or they just don't care.
I can guarantee you they don't care. Anyways, man, what's up? How you doing?
Not much, man. We had back to school night for the kiddos, so they're off tomorrow for their first day. So I'm pretty excited. It's been a little bit crazy. The end of summer always gets a little rough around here, just them wanting to get back. But what about you?
Yeah, no, my kids went back on Monday. What days did we go back? I don't feel like we went back in the middle of the week, did we? I swear it was always on a Monday.
I don't know. I feel like my kids the last couple years have done this. They seem to go back on a Thursday and then they have early out Thursday and Friday. And then it's like, so really it's just like go to class and kind of get to know your teacher. And then Monday really like kicks off the year. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
It is what it is. But
yeah, stupid. School sucks. School's for fools, man.
I was just listening to the Adam Sandler on Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah,
And he was just talking about Billy Madison and stuff. So it's great.
dude. I was singing that song to my kids. The back to school to prove to dad that I'm not
I'm
a
not
fool. Yeah, they're cracking up. It's a good
It's
one.
great.
That's a good one.
So,
But yeah, man. So, new music for your Strong album.
oh, dude.
Pretty much just been listening to that all week, man.
It is great. It is like I've said it a couple of times, but it has like a 90s vibe to it. And just front to back, I feel like it's solid. Even like the song what is it, Daddy of Mine or something like that,
Yeah.
that I wasn't a fan of. Once it's in the album, it oh wait, no, not Daddy of Mine. Dead End Friend.
Okay.
Dead End Friend is the one I was thinking of. Once it's in the album, it feels a little bit better to me. That being the first single they released, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I I'm much more of a fan now that I've listened to everything through a couple of times.
Nice. Yeah, it's insane. That breakdown in Aftermath, Afterthought.
Dude, they've got some heavy stuff.
That's like just a straight up beatdown riff. Like I told my cousin, I was like, when I see them, like if you're in my immediate vicinity, like watch out. I will have a blatant disregard for all of our safety.
I feel like this is what they're gonna like kick sets off with
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's gonna set such a cool tone. I'm actually really stoked to see them. They're coming on tour, right? We've talked about it already, but with like Free Throw,
One step closer.
One Step Closer, yep. And so I'm super pumped to catch this.
Like
I don't remember.
Free Throw's all right.
They're okay. It's November 6th here. Down in Texas, it's November 20th.
Cool.
So, yeah, no, I'm super excited. I
They're-
text you today that I I was annoying my kids, and so I was playing my music, right? I was listening to a bunch of Coheed, and my oldest is like, "You gotta turn this off." So I'm like, "Fine, I'll turn it off." I turned on "Heroes Get Remembered, Legends Never Die." I started moshing by myself, and all the kids are just like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
So
that's
it was
sick.
awesome.
I do that crap with my kids too, and my son will practice like stage diving over the couch. It's a
Nice.
good time, but um, yeah, they're well. I'm sure we'll get around to like actually doing an episode on them because
Oh, for sure.
they're like both of yours and mine, like one of our favorite all time bands, you know. And so
Without question. We will
everything
be talking about
has
them.
been just spectacular, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Totally
good.
agree.
What else, man? Anything else new that you've been listening to?
Um, I don't think really new. The episode that we're doing today is we are going through all the Furnace Fest lineups and we're talking about the bands that we want to see and hoping that the lineups allow us to see them. And so I've been going through and listening to a bunch of Furnace Fest bands. So I really just caught the bug on that.
Yeah,
And yeah, so not a lot of like other stuff other than Furnace Fest. What
yeah.
about you?
So I've been getting into this like country and Americana bluegrass type revival that's going on
Okay.
right now. There's really good stuff out there. And I'm not a fan. Like, I think you and I both have talked about this. Like, we're fans of like old school country,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
There's like this new revival of guys that are bringing that sound back. And there's a guy down here called Charlie Crockett. I guess he's a like descendant of Davy Crockett.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but he just released a new album called Visions of Dallas. It's so freaking good. Like it
Yeah.
is so good. And then I found this other guy named Charles Wellesley Godwin,
Okay.
and he's like more on the bluegrass side, like a lot of banjo, like picking, guitar picking type stuff. A lot of like violin, fiddle
Yeah.
to it. But it's just like I don't know, man. I'm like kind of digging this music right now. It's more calming for me than like listening to just like the other chill stuff we usually talk about. I don't know. I've been really up on it and it's good quality music. Lyrically, it's like very, I don't know, like it's actual real meat to the lyrics, not like most modern country that,
Sure.
talks about beers and trucks and
Sure.
hoes and whatever. So
we've been going so heavy recently on just like heavy bands and stuff that I also feel like that's why I've been taking a little bit of a break. Like I've listened to a ton of Silverstein, a lot of
nice.
Coheed, like a lot of those bands that are going to be on Furnace Fest. Um, and I think it's just because of how heavy we've been listening to recently. The one other song that I forgot to mention is The Undertaking, Touch Dirt. Dude,
Solid, man.
so good.
Yeah.
So good.
This chaotic sound is making a comeback and there's real good bands out there doing it.
I know. I'm bummed that we're flying in a little bit late to catch the pre-party show
Right.
and them playing. I think that it would be incredible to catch these guys. So we're gonna have to catch them at some point. So and
Yeah.
then I went I listened to Tommy Green recommended Pipe Bomb.
Oh
Pipe
yeah.
Bomb is awesome.
Same
That's
same vein,
another
right? Kind of
yeah,
chaotic. Yeah.
exactly. A little bit heavier vocals and stuff though. And it was I've been listening to them like quite a bit.
Yeah.
So another great band.
It's a good time to be discovering music, man. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter the genre, right? Like I'm freaking talking about bluegrass and country that's going back to its roots, and then we have like metalcore that's kind of finding its way back to its roots. That's more chaotic, metallic sounding, and yeah, man, I'm pumped. It's like what Tommy said too. That like kids are back to making music and different sounding music, and I'm just
Right.
excited. I'm just excited to see what's coming out in the next 5 years.
Right. The one show or tour that got announced that's not coming through Utah is Knocked Loose with the Garden, Drain, and Military Gun.
Yeah. Did you see Drain's flyer for it?
Uh-uh.
When like Knocked Loose does all their like tour flyers, it's all serious and dark and gloomy. So
Yeah.
Drain like took that flyer. It's the same one that Knocked Loose has, but they like photoshopped the singer of Drain just like standing there in the corner
Oh, really?
in like his white shirt and short shorts. It's just funny. You got to go look at it. It's just funny because it's all dark and gloomy, and then the singer from Drain's just like photoshopped on top of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I'll have to check that out.
Funny.
The
He makes
Garden. Have you listened to The Garden?
no.
If it's this band, which I think it is, they're weird.
Yeah. I'm not
Like,
gonna go see it because I would really only be going to see Drain and then kind of Military Gun. I have no interest in seeing The Garden or Knocked Loose.
oh,
So
dude, the new Knock Loose album is actually really, really good. So I was
I
a
mean
big.
people say that, so okay.
It is. It's not just one of those things that people are saying. It's good. So,
Okay. Well,
but
that's cool. I've never really been a big Knocked Loose fan, but I do like Drain. I do like Military Gun. So if tickets are cheap, which I doubt they will be,
no, they're going to be 35, $40 probably. I would expect.
before fees, so then you're like 80, you know?
No,
Yeah,
not
dude.
that bad.
That's what they do.
So,
You have to freaking give up your firstborn
well,
as a sacrifice just to get a ticket. Do
all right.
Ticketmaster. That's what they require. A blood sacrifice.
Blood sacrifice at this
Which,
point.
dude. All right, man. Look, we're gonna get off topic here for just 1 second. I'm reading this book about Mayans.
Okay.
So they used to do this thing called bloodletting, right? Where they would like,
Sure.
do you know what the main thing is? Like that they would bloodlet out of?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I do.
A
And
wiener. It's a wiener. Like, come on, man. Like, I know you're like an old time civilization, but like, there's other places. Maybe that's where they got the term, like, you're a prick, you know, because they would
oh my god.
prick their wiener. Yeah, dude. I don't, okay. We can move on. Look, we take pride in people learning new things every time they listen to us. And there you go. If you want to understand what the main part of the body was that Mayan people would sacrifice blood to, now you know.
All right then.
I'm sure you'll win like bar trivia with that. So, okay. I'm a man of culture.
I don't know how many bars are asking what anatomy or what part of the body
dude, you never know.
do Mayans bloodlet out of.
Yeah. It was like your tongue or your wiener. But all right.
Oh, all right then.
We will we'll take a break, and here's a message from our ad or whatever. You know, our sponsors.
How do you segue out of that one?
You know. But all right, dude. So today we have a really cool episode. As you all know, if you've been listening, Trevor and myself will be heading out to Furnace Fest, and we wanted to do a little like mini series about Furnace Fest, the bands, and kind of talk through what we would like to see, who we would maybe not care to see, and you know, before they release a time, and see how close we are or how mad we're going to be when bands we want to see are played against each other, you know?
That's going to be the hard part. Is I do think that there's going to be overlap, and I think that there's going to have to be a lot of decisions made. And there are a lot of bands who I want to watch the whole set, not just like a song or two kind of thing. So it's going to be tough because like looking at everything, I went through and I looked, and you can see about 10 to 12 bands with if you don't stop. Okay. We're going to have to get food. We're going to have to take a break.
We're
so
old,
like,
man.
Gosh dang, man. So like we're going to probably see like 9 to 10 a day. And that's like allowing us some time to walk around. So I did my top 10 that I'm looking to see, hopefully. I don't know how far you took it, but
so yeah. What I did was I broke it up by days.
I did too. Yep.
And I have 3 categories. I have bands who I have to see.
Okay.
Bands who I would like to see. and bands who I don't care to see.
Okay.
So it's like it's a band that I'm going to see no matter who's playing, right? And
Okay.
then it's bands that I'm gonna see as long as that first tier band isn't playing. And then the last one is if I'm there and they're playing, sure. If I miss them, I don't care. If I need to go sit down, I'm gonna go sit down, right?
Okay.
So
Okay. So you went
before
through everyone.
I went through everyone. I
Okay.
went through everyone. I didn't, and like, you know, you and I have been listening to music for a long time. I knew lots of these bands.
Sure.
There were a few bands that I had to go listen to. And I think part of this series that we're going to do is maybe talk about bands we should know better.
Yeah, for
And there's a
sure.
lot of these, right? There's a lot of these that it's like, man, I really should have known these guys better. And we'll get to that. But today we're mostly just focusing on who we want to see and stuff. So
Yeah.
before we get into that though, let me ask you a question. Is your focus on this festival more leaning towards nostalgia, or are you looking for first time bands?
So it depends on the day. So
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
it depends on the day. And I'm going to caveat this by saying, like, I'm actually really disappointed that I feel like Friday and Sunday should be flipped
I
because
did 100%.
Sunday is like, dude, it's hardcore. It's the hardcore day. It's the day that I want to be involved with crowds. It's the day that I want to be moshing and going up and pushing forward and climbing on people. Like that is what Sunday is. And I feel like I'm going to be absolutely drained.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yep.
I'm a little bit disappointed just in the order of everything. After I went through this, I realized that. So, let me preface it with that. But, like, Friday is a nostalgia day for me. It is heavy, heavy nostalgia for me on
Okay.
Friday. Saturday, it is the bands that I should have been more into. These are the bands who I've maybe seen once, maybe seen twice, kind of thing. But like, I should have seen them every time they came
Right.
through. And then Sunday is a lot of the bands who I've been seeing videos of. They've been like really high up at like FYA. They've been high up at
Yeah.
This Is Hardcore and stuff like that. And it's like I'm really looking forward to it. So Friday nostalgia, Saturday is I should have done better in my youth, and Sunday is like yeah, it's like the new stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. So I, for the most part, agree with you. However, I think my overall goal to this festival is new bands to me.
New
So I just want to put that in perspective when you see some of my lists that you're probably going to see a couple bands that are like in the middle or bottom tier, and you're going to be like, oh, that doesn't make sense. My opinion on this festival is I'm taking this as a chance to see bands that I'm either never going to see again or haven't ever seen.
okay,
So there's a few exceptions. There's a few bands that's like, I don't care. I've seen them 100 times and I want to see them 100 times more.
sure,
But for the most part, I'm taking my approach to this festival is I want new bands or bands that I'm probably never going to be able to see again and have never seen. So,
sure. Okay, I gotcha. So let's do this because I listed mine out as like I said, the 10 bands who I want to see for that day. So like these are the bands who like I'm hoping that they've lined up on the list that I can go and see all of those.
okay.
But I like did my number one is like the number one band I want to see for that day kind of thing. So let me start at the
Yeah.
bottom on my list and let's start working our way up. And you can tell me where these bands fall in your ranking system.
All right. But yeah.
So, because you broke it down different than I did.
Yeah.
So, and again, Friday, just for anyone who hasn't looked at it, this was like this was our heyday. You've got the August Burns Red, the Devil Wears Prada, the Silver Scenes. You have Haste the Day on there. He is Legend. Oh Sleeper. Like this was like metalcore, emo, 2006, 2000 to 2009. Like our high school heyday is on Friday. So a lot of this is going to be very nostalgia based for me, but there's only about 6 of those nostalgia bands who I was like, I really want to go catch their sets. So starting at number 10, I did a split here because if they're playing at the same time, like honestly, I don't care if I walk between stages and I catch just a song or two from both of these bands, but Bury Your Dead and Bleeding Through.
Okay.
So Bury Your Dead is a band who like they were the heavy band when we were in high school. Like I remember being like have you listened to Bury Your Dead? Like they are the band kind of thing. And so I was never a huge Bury Your Dead fan, but they're a band that like when I went really heavy that I would throw on from time to
Yeah.
time. And then Bleeding Through was just like because of like the organs and stuff like that. They had that really hot topic look at the
Hmm.
time. Like
Yeah.
they were the quintessential scene band, but they were playing
Yeah.
heavier music than scene music.
Right.
So that's where I came in at number 10. Where do you
Okay.
rank these? Let me guess. I think you have no interest in seeing either one of these bands.
So Bleeding Through is on a I don't care to see.
Okay. I
And
guessed that. Yeah.
and not just because I'm not a metal fan right now, but it's also because I've seen them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm okay. Like I'm okay. I don't care, right? And I don't even like really relate to that music anymore anyways.
Sure.
So um Bury Your Dead is on the middle tier, who I would like to
Okay.
see. If no one else, if a band that I want to see is not playing, I'll go see them because I think that it'll be funner being older and having paid my dues to go watch a band like Bury Your Dead play. Because you're right, dude.
Exactly.
Like I don't know that we appreciated that fully. I think that's why. I mean, there's how many bands each day? 20 or something.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
22 or something.
like they're even a top 10 for you. You know,
Yeah.
it shows that like they're a good band. They're worth seeing. But if one of my have to see bands are playing, then I'll be okay missing them. But I'd like to see them. You know, so
Cool. Cool. Okay. Number 9 for me, and this is going to catch a lot of people off guard, but um, I actually have a really big interest in catching all of these bands is Twisted Luck.
yeah,
Birmingham, Alabama. This is going to be your locals. I'm assuming that they're going to be one of the first bands to play. So I'm actually thinking that they're not going to overlap with anything. And I'm
right.
very interested in catching these guys. And it's going to be that way for most of the locals who are playing this show. Twisted Luck, when we did the commodity episode, we talked about a lot of the Birmingham scene. And
Yeah.
Twisted Luck is one of those bands that I listen to. Remind me, is Twisted Luck, was that the vocalist's son? Do you remember how he said his
Yeah, I
son was
think
the
it was.
drummer?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was. Yeah, yeah.
So they might be the heaviest Birmingham band to play, maybe Delta Hate, but they're definitely up there. So I'm
Yeah.
actually really excited to catch the Birmingham scene.
So I had them on my middle tier, but I had them
Sure.
highlighted saying that like it could be a top tier.
Yeah.
So like I really want to see them. I just like if I had to sacrifice a band, like I would sacrifice the local band. Mostly because like they're newer, I have a higher chance of seeing them. And if there's a band that like I'm never going to see again, then I would make that case. But like I am going into Friday hoping that I can see Twisted Luck play. So
I agree.
yeah,
Like I said, I think they're going to be one of the earlier bands to play, so I don't think we're going to have an issue catching them. The other local band that day is Penny Circus. It's not really my style of music,
yeah, me
and
neither.
to be honest, like if I needed a little bit of a come down, maybe I'd go see Penny Circus or something like that. But I'm there for Twisted Luck when it comes to the B Ham on Friday.
Yeah. So Penny Circus, I have them highlighted as like I just need to listen to
Yeah.
more. Like I listen to them and they're kind of that like grungy shoegazy
Mhm.
sound, right? That's really popular right now. But I actually liked how they did it. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was because the vocals were a little different. So I'm not like a fan of them. I'm not going to go out of my way to see them. But like if you and I grab food and are sitting down and like we just sit in the back, like I would 100% sit in the back and watch these guys play. But I'm not going Friday thinking that I'm going to see them, right?
That's where I am with them. Okay.
And I felt that way about like because there were a couple other bands that were similar sounding, I guess, of this like lower,
There's a
like not
lot
as
of them.
so like free throw, Oso Oso, Slow Joy, Like those all were like cool bands that like if I'm there and literally don't have anything or I'm just sitting down, I'll watch them. I'll watch them play.
Agreed.
So
That being said, if this fest was more based like on that style of music, if that was the primary stuff, I don't think I'd be going to Furnace Fest.
right. Good.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest,
Exactly.
right? If they're there, if they're playing, like you said, if we're having lunch or something, and it's just like a minute to sit down, sure, I'll watch any of them. None of them are
Yeah.
like, I want to walk away from this. None of them are like electronica music that's cringeworthy, right?
Yeah.
It's just not. It's just not what I'm there for
I
as
will
we're
say
going to
though,
Furnace Fest.
I do appreciate because there's a band that is on Friday that is a different style of music that is on my who I have to see. So
I'm
I
sure.
I appreciate though that there is variety at this festival. I want to make that
I agree. I agree. So okay, so my number 8 is Unearth.
okay.
So Unearth is a band. They are kind of like the Bury Your Deads, the Bleeding Throughs. They were a little bit before our time. They were the old men of metalcore when we
Yeah.
were coming up, right? They were on like Ozfest. They were on like they toured with Slayer. You know what I mean? Like they were that band who was like, this is our genre, but it's also not our genre kind of thing.
Right.
And I think that, like you said, with the Bury Your Dead, I just don't think I appreciated them enough when I was younger to, because I did, I listened to Unearth, but it was the Eyes of the Fire album, which was
Right.
the 2008. And you guys have heard me say it. If it was done in 2008, I'd
everything
probably
peaked in
listen to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything peaked in 2006,
I
2008.
don't know. I can't make that claim on this album that this was the peak for
Right.
Unearth, but I will say that it was really probably the only Unearth album that like I listened to on a more consistent basis.
Sure. So I actually have Unearth as who I have to see.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And the reason why is because of what you're saying. This is a band that like I wish I was older when they were playing because they're good. And this is the
Yes.
type of metalcore to me that is like pinnacle metalcore. And like you said, they're old. I don't know that I see these guys again. I know they
Yeah.
still play a lot of shows and stuff, but that's not happening forever. Um, so yeah, they're on who I have to see just because of the fact that like they're old. I don't know when I'm going to see them again. They're heavy, but and they usually don't tour with other bands that like I'm okay with going to see. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like this might be the only time that I get to actually see Unearth and in a good environment to where it's like, all right, this is going to be fun to see these
Okay.
guys. So I am there on my list that I am going to see them on Friday.
And honestly, their new EP, have you listened to it?
Yeah.
Those couple songs?
Uh huh.
Sea of the Lost is insane.
Yeah.
Like this is a song, this is a group who I would like to see them with like an it dies today. I want the old timers coming back and playing just some heavy ass metalcore.
Yeah.
That would be a sick show. So listen, Unearth, it dies today. Let's make it happen. Come on, guys.
yeah.
So number 7 for me. Let me ask you this before we keep going. How many have to see bands do you have listed on each day?
So Friday, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5
Okay.
on Friday.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have time to see some of these other like who I would
Yeah.
like to see bands.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
doesn't count August Burns Red, which is gonna be the last band to play. So I know so
We're
technically 6, right? Because we're gonna go see them.
sure. Okay.
So
Because they're the closers. Okay. That
yeah.
makes sense. Um, okay. Number 7 for me is Dying Wish. I
Mm,
am a big fan actually of Symptoms of Survival. I missed them when they came through last time and played Kilby Court. I was really bummed that I missed that show. And I've been itching to see Dying Wish. So I'm really excited to see this. And I actually think that they're going to have some pretty fun guest vocal spots come through on this just
sure.
because, like, she's dating the dude from The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
I
So
don't.
either like I could see like people coming and joining them or like her going and joining some of the other guys kind of thing. She's dating the guitarist,
Okay.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Um so I think that their set is just going to be really fun because number one, they're really big right now. I think a lot of people are interested in seeing them. So I think the crowd's going to be good for them. And like I said, I'm a fan of Symptoms of Survival. I know you weren't as big of a fan of that album, but I think it's great.
So they are on my I don't care to see.
And I probably could have guessed that.
Yeah. So I mean, Friday's kind of a weird day for me because I feel like it's very loaded on the I don't really care to see.
Okay.
So I'm sure I'm going to end up seeing some of those bands, right? But
Okay.
Dying Wish, it's not my sound right now. So,
Okay. I
and
gotcha.
like, I think too, I know I said that like my purpose is to see new bands or bands I've never seen before or whatever, but like, there's a couple of the middle tier bands that I have seen a bunch of times that I would probably go see again before I saw Dying Wish. So,
That's fair.
yeah.
That's fair. I just like as I was going through, like you said, there's a bunch of bands on Friday where there's bands who I want to see, I need to see kind of thing, but there was also the ones who I'm just kind of meh on.
Yeah.
And so like I've listened to a lot of Dying Wish, so like I'm excited to catch
No,
up.
yeah,
So
dude. I know you're a big fan of them, so I
yeah.
get that. So,
So okay. Number 6, and this is where listen, from this point on, this is pretty much nostalgia based. Okay. Like
okay.
6 upward is pretty nostalgia based. I have the Devil Wears Prada at 6.
Okay.
And I am really hoping that they play a heavy old set from Plagues, from Dear Love. Like, I guess you can throw in Roots kind of thing, but I'm hoping it's before Roots era Devil
Dead
Wears
Throw's got to be
Prada.
on there.
You can have Death Throne, a couple
Well, no,
songs.
I don't.
Zombie EP, like we got to get some
Yeah.
zombie.
So this is where I'm going to catch hate from you. They're on my I don't really care to see.
It doesn't surprise me.
And it's not necessarily because of their music. It's just because, dude, I've seen them
So many times.
so many
Agreed.
times. And so, like, again, if there's bands that I've not seen, I'm gonna go see them. So
Sure. And I understand that aspect. And to be honest, like I might only catch a couple of songs of the Devil Wears Prada, but I have them in number 6 because if they come out and play a Plagues heavy set,
yeah,
I will be there hard for a
I get
Plagues
that.
heavy set.
I tell you what, dude, like I struggled putting them down there. I did
Yeah.
because I love the
No,
Devil Wears Prada. So
but I understand what you're saying. I have a gut feeling we're gonna get that just because they're on that When We Were Young fest and they're playing Plagues heavy through. So I
sure,
kind of feel like it's gonna be Plagues heavy, which I'm stoked for.
yeah.
But if they're playing the newer stuff, like
Maybe that's like an asterisk band, right? That's like if they play their good stuff, they'll move up for me.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
in all honesty, like that's really what it breaks down for me. If it's old, that's where they're at 6. If it's new, they're not on my list. They're not on the top 10. So again, I'm asterisked as well.
Yeah.
I'm having a gut feeling that it's going to be heavy old. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. Uh, Number 5, and this is why I wanted to rank the bands because like we're going to see this band, but if they didn't happen to be the headliner, I wouldn't care as
Mm,
much kind of thing. It's August Burns Red.
yeah. So they're a little higher for me because they're playing Constellations, and I love that album. It's not as good as Messengers, but I freaking love Constellations, and I think it's going to be heavy. Like I think
Yeah,
it's going to sound good. I think the crowd's going to get into it. Because I think August Burns Red is one of those metalcore bands that hardcore kids like but don't want to admit it. So I think kids are going to go pretty hard for it.
dude. I mean, the last time I remember seeing August Burns Red was freaking 12 years ago with the Acacia Strain and
Right.
My Children, My Bride, and it was insane.
Yeah.
It was such a fun show. So I'm really excited to see them. To be honest, if they weren't playing Constellations, they actually might drop a little bit lower.
Yeah. So
Like,
I had them on
yeah,
my I would like to see but don't have
yeah,
to see, mostly because like there's heavier, better stuff I feel like I want to see.
sure,
So,
agreed.
but I'm
Okay,
gonna go see them because they're the
they're
closer
last.
and it's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
sick.
we're
So,
gonna see it. But honestly, if we're dying too, like I'm fine leaving after a few songs, kind of thing. So,
yeah,
uh, okay, number 4 is Haste the Day. Number 4 is Haste the Day. Haste the Day might hold the record for the band I've seen the most times ever.
yeah.
Four-year is getting up there. I've seen Four-year a lot of times, kind of thing. But Haste the Day, I swear we were seeing 2 or 3 times a
Oh,
year.
seriously. Yeah,
It was
for sure.
insane. And we caught them every time they came through.
Yep.
I'm super excited that they have both Steven and
Jimmy.
Jimmy. That's going to be awesome. I've been
Yeah.
listening to When Everything Falls.
Mm,
Album's incredible. Pressure the Hinges, album's incredible.
absolutely.
I
So,
am pumped for Haste the Day.
yeah, they're on my I have to see.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was talking to my wife about this episode, and I was like, "Yeah, there's a bunch of bands that like it doesn't matter how many times I've seen them, I'm still gonna see them." And I was like, "Hey, today's that one." And she's like, "Oh, that's cool." I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna see him at Furnace Fest, and I'm gonna turn around in 2 months. I'm gonna see him again in Dallas." Like that's how much I like this band. So they're
Yes.
yeah, this is the one like exception to what I said of I've seen them 100 times, and I would see them 100 times more. So they are absolutely on that list of I have to see.
So let me ask you, how high up on that list? Like, are they one of the top bands that you're looking forward to on Friday?
So there's only two bands that I would maybe, and it's only because I know I'm going to see Haste Today in December. There's
Okay.
two bands that I'm probably that I would maybe go see if it had to come to that, and I don't think it will, but if it had to, and we'll get to it. Let's finish
We'll
out
get
your
to it.
list,
We'll
and
get
then
to
we
it.
can yeah.
Okay. And by the way, that was the show that we forgot to mention beforehand is
Mm.
Haste the Day, Oh Sleeper, and He is Legend with Living
And
Sacrifice
Living Sacrifice. Oh, dude,
coming to Dallas December
December.
15th.
Yeah,
So that's
it's
insane.
going to be insane.
Okay, number 3. This is a band that I freaking loved. I had a lot of fights with my parents about this band, which is going to sound weird to people, but uh because of that, like I think that it was a kind of rebel against the parents for me, so maybe that's why I like them so much, but it's Silverstein.
Okay, I figured that
Silverstein,
was coming.
yeah. Silverstein is very high on my list. I think they're going to play a lot of newer stuff. I'm not as big a fan as of newer Silverstein. It's all good. I love Silverstein's discography, kind of front to back. I'll listen to anything they've put out, but like you give me anything before like Arrivals and Departures, and like that's the era of Silverstein. Again, you, I don't need to say it. Like it's my wheelhouse, but that stuff I
Yeah,
will love. I haven't seen them in years. Last
right.
time I saw them with was like Showbread or something like that. It was
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
So yeah,
Uh, they're on my I don't care to see,
I
mostly
assume
because
that.
like I enjoyed like Silverstein's first couple albums, but I was never like a big Silverstein stan. Like they're good. I have absolutely no issues with them. I understand their appeal to you because you're big on like that stuff, right?
Yeah,
Silverstein, Senses Fail, Drop Dead, like all that.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I absolutely understand where you're coming from. I've seen them before, and their music doesn't really relate to me much right now. So I'm cool with not seeing them. So they're a little lower
Sure.
for me. But
Nope, that makes complete sense to me.
yeah,
Okay, so number 2, this is a band who I kick myself again. I'm so mad that it wasn't a band that I was more into, saw more. Like I wish I could go back and catch these guys more. It's Bane.
okay, yep,
Yep. Bane is very high up on my list. They are I've listened to a lot of Bane recently, mostly since they got announced for Furnace Fest. I've been listening to a lot of the older hardcore stuff,
yeah,
and Bane has struck a chord with me. I'm very excited to catch this set. I think this will be the only time I see Bane,
right,
probably. And so they are definitely high on my list, number 2. I will be catching the Bane set.
yeah. So they're one of the bands that I would potentially not see Haste Today for, and it's only because, like you said, I mean, this is we always joke about this, but Bane has come out of like their retirement or final show or whatever like 6 times. But one of these days it's going to be true and they're going to stop playing. And I've never seen Bane. And so
Yeah.
they're on my have to see because I'm never going to see him again, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good call on that one.
Okay. And my number 1 band, and listen, I'm probably going to get hate for this, okay? Because the lineup is stacked,
Yeah.
and there's nostalgia and there's all the stuff, but I missed the show when they came through. Seeing He Is Legend play I Am Hollywood front to back is such a bucket list thing for me because I've
Okay.
never seen it front to back.
Yeah.
And I love this album. I am so excited to see this album played all the way through.
Yeah.
So that is my number one band for
That's
Friday.
that's interesting. I don't know that I would have thought that He's Legend would be number one for you. So
I know. It's very
cool
surprising,
though.
honestly.
They're on my who I would like to see, so they're on my middle one, but they're one of those that I highlighted that was like it could have gone up.
Okay.
I think part of it is that I'm going to see him in December with Haste Today. I like that they're playing I Am Hollywood all the way through. That album is just top tier. Like it's incredible. But I've seen them a bunch of times too, you know?
I know.
So I hope I can see them, but if like Bane or Haste Today or whatever is playing, then I'm going to miss them.
I
So.
will leave any show to go and actually see them play I Am Hollywood.
Okay.
Like the actual song.
Yeah.
Like if I have to split,
that's fair. That's
you
fair.
know, the actual song. If I have to split time between, let's say, Bane and He Is Legend or whatever, I will catch the first part of Bane to catch the second part of I Am Hollywood.
That's a good point. I might be right there with you doing that.
So
all right.
Because I didn't get to some bands who you're saying you have to see.
I know.
I didn't hit all of them.
So there's two of them.
Now.
There's two of them. So who I have to see: Bane.
Okay.
Haste Today.
Okay.
Unearth.
Okay.
Coalesce.
Okay.
Because that's a band that I'll never see again.
Okay.
Right? Never seen them. We'll never see them again. The other one on there, and I'm going to catch some hate for this, and I will fight anyone. Glitterer.
You're not going to catch hate for it. I knew they were going to be. I knew they were going to be on your list. I have no interest whatsoever to go watch Glitterer. Absolutely,
I think it'll be a fun set.
Whatsoever. So you can waddle over you there, buddy.
I'll do it, man. When I'm tired or whatever. Hopefully, it's like towards the end where I'm tired, I can just go sit there and chill and watch them. But so just to finish out day one, who I would like to see, Better Lovers. Mostly because I'm never going to pay to go see them anywhere else. So I might as well go see them there just to say I've seen them, you know?
And to be honest, I will pay. I will pay to go see them. So I'm not as interested in seeing this set.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Emery. I like Emery. I've always liked Emery. Seen them a bunch of times though. One. So that's why I didn't they're not super high.
Yeah.
From a Second Story Window. It's a band that would be worth seeing just because I'm never going to see him again.
Yeah.
And then Oh Sleeper is the last one on there.
Yeah.
And if they did a Vices Vipers set, then they would probably be higher. I'm not a huge fan of their newer stuff, but Vices Vipers, dude, if they ended up playing Vices Vipers, they would probably jump up to I have to see.
Sure.
So that album is just redonkulous, you know?
Right. So Coalesce for me, that is a band who I knew nothing about really until they were announced on Furnace Fest. I don't know why. They were just never a band that toured with anyone or anything like that. I've been listening to a lot of Coalesce actually recently, and I really, really like them. And realistically, I will probably catch some of Coalesce's set.
Yeah.
But they were number 11 for me.
Right.
They were just outside of my 10. And it's just because so much is nostalgia based on this first day for me. Right. So, I'll have to get my nostalgia fix and then catch some of this other stuff. But yeah.
So let's go to day 2.
Okay.
Day two. Probably should. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is going to be a little bit of a weird one. This is about the only. There's 2 bands that aren't heavy bands who I have on my list of I really want to go see. Number 10 for me is Slick Shoes.
Interesting. Okay.
So Slick Shoes is a band when I was 8 to 10 and getting into music that they fell into them MXPX, Rufio,
Hmm.
Goldfinger,
Yeah.
bands like that. And my cousins were really into those types of bands. And so I used to listen to Slick Shoes albums all the time. That was the first like style of like punk, pop punk that I really got into that was different than what my parents were listening to. So
Yeah.
Slick Shoes is actually a very nostalgic band for me. And it's one that like very I I surprise myself when I go and listen to Slick Shoes and be like, "Oh, I
I
still
remember
love
all this.
this."
Yeah.
So,
That's cool. No, dude, like Slick Shoes is cool. I just, it's so stacked this day of bands that I want to see that they're on the, like, I don't really care if I see them or not.
yep.
Not because, not anything against them. I love Slick Shoes. I'm right there with you, dude. Like that era of like pop punk and punk with like MXPX is super nostalgic for me too. I loved it. You
Yeah.
know, still good. So no, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
I'm gonna have a bunch of bands actually that people are gonna be like, "Why? Why are they not in your top 10?" I know today is the day that I have those bands. Number 9 for me is The Blood. So, this is the day where we have a bunch of bands that we've done episodes on.
Yeah.
And I got way more into these bands through doing the episodes.
Mm,
And they all of a sudden skyrocketed on my list of having to see them. The
yeah.
Blood falls into that category. I always listen to The Blood. We always listen to The Blood kind of thing. I don't think they would have made my top 10 if we didn't do an episode on The Blood, mostly just because I wouldn't have remembered how much I like them.
Okay. Interesting. So they're on my who I would like to see. They're the middle one. The only reasons is that one, I've seen them. Two, there's so many bands on day two that I've never seen before. And so I know I'm gonna have to make the hard decision. And unfortunately, the Bled is one of those that may fall into where I can't see them. I want to see them. I love Pass the Flask. I'm the one that picked them, so like I have a huge attachment to the Bled. It's just, man, I got to take advantage of seeing some of these bands that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
So it's
And
hard. This one's hard.
I know they've recently started playing some more, so maybe you can catch them somewhere else.
Well, they did
But
just come here and I missed it.
yeah, you're an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
But I don't know if like they're gonna roll through Salt Lake again.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that active. And to be honest, I think I only saw the Blood personally one time.
Okay.
So it's one of those bands that I don't have a ton of background with. So where you're saying like bands I've never seen, that they almost fall into that category.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Number 8 for me is No Innocent Victim.
Mm.
This is a band that as you start going back through, the Christian hardcore and all that kind of stuff, that their name pops up. We just did the episode with Tommy, and I already wanted to see them, but him talking about like his experience recently with their vocalist up there, like it was like, okay, I do want to go see No Innocent Victim. I want to make sure I catch their set, at least a couple songs off their set kind of thing. I think that they're heavy, they're fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting go with
Yeah.
this group.
So they're on my I have to see.
Okay.
So I'm right there with you, dude. I'm super pumped to listen to them. So
It's yeah.
it'll be good.
After Tommy, I was like, okay, they're going up there. So
Yeah.
Okay, number 7. This is again weird, but the locals are actually higher on the list for me of bands that I'm wanting to see. Commodity and Delta Hate. I did it
Nice.
both on 7, right? Because like if I only have to catch one or the other kind of thing, I'll take one or the other. I prefer to see both of them, but I will do one or the other. We talked about Commodity. They're so sick. That
Mhm.
fast, upbeat, hardcore kind of thing is awesome. And Delta Hate, dude, she rips, man.
She does rip.
I freaking love Delta Hate right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So Commodity is on my have to see,
Okay.
and Delta Hate is on I would like to see.
Okay.
So for
Yeah.
the same reasons, man. Like I really like Commodity. I know they're not like a big band, but their sound resonates with me super hard right now. So even if it wasn't like a local band that we talked about, like, and I discovered Commodity, I would instantly be like, yep, this is the sound that I'm into right now. I'm going to see them. So
Dude, for real, like if we were at the show, we didn't know who they were, and we just happened to be watching their set, I would be so happy to
Yeah.
see that sound on stage.
100%.
So like it's right there. It's like we talked about, fast, hard. It's great. So I'm pumped for that. Number 6 for me is Evergreen Terrace.
Okay. They're
Number
on my
6 for
have to
me,
see. Yeah.
they are. Okay,
Yep.
cool. They are a band that uh they were one of the more hardcore bands that I actually listened to when I was younger. There was a couple of their albums that I would put on frequently and roll around in my car listening to them. Ever since Absolved covered that No Donnie,
Mm,
like
yeah.
it's added back to the I want to see Evergreen Terrace again.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever seen them.
I
I
think I
feel
saw them
like
at
I
a
have.
Warp. Did they play a Warp Tour?
I think so.
I
That's the
think
thing is like
that might
I'm
be
a
where it was.
same thing with you. I'm a huge fan of Evergreen Terrace. I just can't remember if I ever seen them. Too many shots
Yeah,
to the head. I don't know, but I gotta see them this time. And because
yeah.
they're a band too that like they're older, dude. I don't know that we're seeing them again. You know?
They just put out a new song.
Yeah, yeah. But bands are doing this without touring. You know, or they're playing one festival or two festivals here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I think that they're playing a little bit more. Their drummer is the old Yellow Card drummer, and he posts videos all the time. I'm saying that
okay.
right, right? He's the.
I don't know. I
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
sure he's Evergreen
That's
Terrace.
sick if it's true. So
I'm like
I believe you.
90% sure. So,
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, they've actually been like posting and stuff. So I actually think that we might see an Evergreen Terrace tour
that'd be
at
sick.
some point. So, but
Still going to see him.
again, yeah, that is one that I absolutely want to go see. Number 5 for me, and this is a band again, I kick myself that I wasn't into them more. They are incredible. Is Snapcase.
Yeah, I have to see him.
I've
They're on
got to
that.
see Snapcase.
Yep.
I
Dude,
don't
they're
think I'll
so
see them
good.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good.
So, like, I'll be honest, I don't know their music like well enough that like I will be at the front. I won't be like jumping and like singing along and stuff like that. But just like
You
the
have to see
sound,
him.
you have
It's
to.
just a band that you just have to see. You have to see.
Yes.
I'm right there with you. There's not much more to say. You just have to
Yep.
see him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Number 4, this is going to be a band that kind of falls into the like what the Blood was, right? It was a band that we did an episode on
Mm,
that I probably should have known more. And since we've done the episode, I have listened to them a ton. Shai Hulud.
yeah.
Shai is at number 4 for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I
They're on
am,
my have to see.
yeah, I'm
So right
pumped.
there with you. Yeah.
Seeing their
Yeah.
like
Not
practices at the With Honor space on Instagram and stuff like that, been so
it's
sick.
gonna be incredible, dude. It's gonna be incredible. So and like, yeah, it was a band that we knew about. We listened to a little bit, but going back and listening to them, and like I've been listening to them a lot more the last couple years. Like, cause they're playing the album that's red, ill
Oh,
something.
Blood Ill Will Tempered or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, they're playing that one front to back.
Oh,
It's gonna be sick.
interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
I
So
didn't see that. So that's good to know.
yeah, because
I'll have to
Van Geert
go.
or whatever is doing the vocals for it.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
remember you saying that. Okay. That actually makes me more excited. So, no, that's going to be sick. Cool. Number 3. And this is again a band that we are going to see because they are the closers is Coheed.
Okay.
And honestly, they would have been much lower on my list until they announced that they're doing the playthrough of Good
Good
Apollo.
Apollo, dude. Oh yeah, I was the exact same way. I had them on my like same as August Burn Dread. Like I'm gonna see them, but like whatever. But when they announced they're playing Good Apollo, I was like, nope, instantly up, dude. Instantly up.
Exactly.
I'm so pumped for that.
And on top of that, I was on the Facebook page for Furnace Fest today, and people were asking about it. And they said, we are giving Coheed enough time to play the full album and some extra songs.
Cool.
So we're gonna get the best Coheed set, like in my opinion, that we can get.
It's gonna be so cool seeing them in with like hardcore kids and like no barricade. Like I'm gonna head walk to freaking homecoming, dude. Like who would have thought? You know, like the
Right,
second that start, like, dude, I'm going nuts. I'm
right.
going nuts. You know,
Dude,
it's gonna be
so
so
fun.
sick.
It's gonna be so fun. But yeah, honestly, until that announcement, was that announcement today?
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah, they would have been probably around like 9 or even 10 for me if it
right.
wasn't for that. Number two, stick it on the trend of bands we've talked about. Poison the Well. I am so excited to see Poison the Well.
Yeah.
It is one of those bands that did not get the credit that they deserved in my CD case, and I kick myself for not catching these guys more because they actually did come through. There
Right.
was chances for me to catch Poison the Well more than I saw them.
Yeah. So they're on my middle one just
Okay.
because I've seen them a bunch. Like I caught them with my brother multiple times, right? They're the same spot as like the Bled, where it's like, I really, really hope I can see them.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a couple other bands that like, I kind of
They're
have to see 'em.
teetering.
They're
They're right
teetering. They're
there.
right
They're
there.
teetering.
It might be one of those where like I catch half a set from someone and then go catch the other half of
Yeah.
these guys. That's probably what it's going to end up being, depending
Yeah.
on. Yeah, we'll see. So, yeah.
My number one for the day, the band that I will absolutely go and I will be watching their entire set. This is probably my number one for the fest, to be completely honest, is Misery Signals.
Yeah.
I seriously was like, how do I make it to Boise to go catch this farewell tour? And I
Yeah.
didn't go because I was planning on seeing them here. And it was the band that we said on the episode. I expect Misery Signals to show up here. They got announced, and I was
And we bought
pumped.
tickets. Yeah.
And we bought
We
literally
literally bought tickets.
that announcement was they're going, we're going.
Yeah.
So Misery Signals is the reason we are going to this festival. It's an incredible lineup, but they were the ones that pushed us over the top. I will be seeing the entire set from Misery Signals. I am
Yeah.
so excited.
Yep. Same here, dude. And it's the last time you're going to see him.
Yeah.
Supposedly. We'll see,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
dude.
mean, they weren't playing a lot before. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is it.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple shows here and there, but that's it.
All right. So here's some of the differences we have. And
Okay.
today I think's kind of stark. Stretch Armstrong is a band I have to see. I'm a huge Stretch Armstrong fan because they've got that traditional hardcore sound and they bleed a little bit into some metalcore sound. Their new EP is incredible. I got the vinyl for it. Like, I love it. So they're a band that I have to see. I'm a big
Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong fan. This one's going to surprise you, and I know you're going to disagree, but Be Well.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Be Well fan, dude. I love
Yeah.
that sound. And I just like he does a bunch of stuff, so I don't know that I'll ever be able to see them play,
I don't know. That's the thing. I just caught them with Newfound a couple years ago. So
I know, but they didn't come to Utah, or Texas. They didn't come to Texas.
I know,
so.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I expect that they'll be back out on tour.
Yeah,
I didn't
maybe.
love their set here in Salt Lake, so
If I have to cut their set in half to go catch like the Bled or Poison the Well, I'll do that.
Sure, makes
I'll
sense.
do that. So, and then like Commodity, we talked about Evergreen Terrace, Misery Signals, No Innocent Victim. Pain of Truth is one that I really want to see.
I really want to, but they are doing the Dying Wish show,
and I'm not going to that.
Yeah, and I am. So that is why they didn't make my 10, because I do expect that I will be seeing Pain of Truth soon.
Yeah.
So,
the last band on here that we haven't talked about that I think is a must see is Sky Came Falling. And it's more just out of respect for that band because like you'll never see them again. And if you listen to them much,
I mean I have since they got announced to coming here. Like
it's
that's
a blast from the past sound, dude. Yeah. It's like just some straight up like MySpace metalcore, man. And I don't know. It's just a band that like I don't know. I'm gonna have to see them. And they might be a band that's like I might have to leave halfway through to go catch someone else, but like I'm gonna stand there and check a box and say I saw Sky Came Falling.
Yeah. And I understand that they are that's like my number 11 if like I was to extend it out. And Stretch was like my number 12 kind of thing if I was to extend it out. The problem with Stretch, not the problem, the reason I don't have Stretch is because they just dropped the new EP. I wonder if they'll maybe do a tour or something like that. And if they roll through Utah, like I will absolutely go and see Stretch Armstrong. But that is not a band that I ever owned an album of. It's not a band that really caught my attention until this last EP. And like I've listened to them more now, but like I really have no emotional connection to that
Yeah.
band. So
I've listened to
that's
them a
why.
lot the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
yeah.
excited to see them. So here's the other thing about day 2 that I want to bring up. There's 2 ska bands, and I feel like I have to skank at least once. I don't know that I need to go see Five Iron Frenzy or Catch 22 their whole sets, but I'll be damned if I don't ska or skank dance for at least 1 or 2 songs. I have to. Like I owe it to like 12-year-old Kyle to skank dance for at least 2 to 3 songs. I have to.
And listen, like I understand that. This just isn't the show for it. Like it's not the festival for
Bro,
it. Like I know what you're saying, but like if I come out of like skink retirement, I want to be seeing Less Than Jake. I want to be seeing Real Big Fish. I want to be seeing like those ska bands. But you listen to a lot more ska than I do.
I do listen
I
to all
listen. I listen to the classics of ska. So
I've got an itch, and the only prescription is skank dancing. All right. I have not skank danced in a while. And all skank dancing is just a slower 2-step. All right. So I'm there on the 2-step. I've 2-stepped quite a bit lately. I need to skank dance, dude. I need to. My
all
body
right.
yearns, my soul yearns for it. All right.
I
So
got you.
I will be catching a little bit of Catch 22 and Five Iron Frenzy. What's funny is like Sailson, I hope I can see them. I really want to see Cove Set. But I've seen them a whole bunch, and there's other bands that I haven't seen that will take precedence over Sailson.
Yeah.
And if I don't see them here, I'll just see them on their tour this fall. Right.
Yeah, they're coming to you. So
So
we
the
don't get
other
that, but
the other 2 bands that I want to bring up, they're not necessarily like have to see bands, but they're really good bands that I wish more people talked about, and that's Idle Threat
okay.
and My Epic. Have you heard of either of those?
I have
So
not listened to them a lot.
Idle Threat is like a kind of a heavier post-hardcore. I think them and My Epic are both like Christian bands and stuff.
Okay.
Um, Idle Threat gives me like Thrice Visu vibes.
Oh, cool.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like a darker post-hardcore. They're really cool, dude. You should go check them out. You really should. And then My Epic is like really slow, kind of ambient music, but it's really good. So I hope I can catch a little bit of both of those. I won't be devastated if not, but they're 2 bands that I think people are going to sleep on this festival because they're really good.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
See, and I actually think that there's going to be a decent crowd for some of that stuff because I do think that there's enough of the post-hardcore scene and stuff that I think that people will actually be there for the post-hardcore, so they'll catch something like an
yeah.
Idle Threat.
The problem is though is that like day 2, there's like other bands that I think people are going to go see for a post hardcore vibe, like Fall of Troy, Hail the Sun,
Yeah.
LS Dunes.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see. I
So
think that my gut feeling is that just the way that it looks from a lot of this stuff is that I think that the 3 stages are going to be pretty like this is metalcore,
mm.
this is post hardcore, this is whatever glitter is kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So I think that there's going to be enough separation that people will kind of stay in their lanes,
okay,
minus the couple of crossovers. But we'll see. We'll have to
yeah.
see for sure.
All right,
Okay,
man. Day 3. What do you got?
day 3. Okay, so this was the one where really I feel like I only had like a top 6 where I was like, I just by the time I got done going through the first 2 days, I was like, I'm exhausted making this list. So I can only imagine how exhausted I'm going to be actually seeing, like being there on Sunday. So,
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of bands here that are, these are the mosh bands. And I'm, like I said, I'm disappointed this is Sunday because I feel like I'm going to be drained. But kicking it off, number 10 for me is Norma Jean. This is a nostalgia hit for me. I don't remember the last time I saw Norma Jean. I've really actually liked a couple of the last Norma Jean albums, but I'm hoping for again a throwback Norma Jean set. I want uh Bless the Martyr. What's that?
Yeah, they're not going to do it though.
They're not going to. I want it. Here's to hoping.
Yeah,
But I do want to catch at least a couple of the songs. I'm not heartbroken one way or another seeing
sure.
too much of them though.
So they're on my I don't care to see because I
Yeah,
haven't liked anything since Bless the Martyr. So
that's that's a bad take. There's
it's
good
not a
stuff.
it's not a bad take.
There's
It's not
there's
that good.
good stuff from
Memphis
Warren G.
Laid to Waste is their best song, and if they don't have that vocalist and playing that song, like I'm not gonna. It just doesn't interest me. So
Oh man. Okay. I
Redeemer
won't
was good. Bless
I
the
won't
Martyr was good. Redeemer was good. That's about it.
do I thought All Hell was great. Like that was
Nah,
an album that I listened to quite a
I
bit.
don't like their current vocalist, dude. Doesn't do
Okay.
it for me.
That
So
makes sense. Number 9 for me. This is where the locals slot in for me. All In and Cold Hard Steel are the local bands these days. I'm a big fan of Cold Hard Steel. All In
yeah,
is heavy. So that could be really fun, especially because I think that, like I said, it's going to kick off the day. I think the locals are going to be pretty early on. And so something that heavy setting the stage for all the hardcore to follow this day is actually going to be pretty dope.
yeah. So Cold Hard Still is on my. I would like to see. All In is like, nah, I
Okay.
don't care.
Yeah,
I
I got you.
so I guess you'll have to send me who it is because there's like 3 different bands that I was listening to that are called All In, and I don't know which one it was because they were all hardcore metal sounding. So you'll have to send it to me because if it's one that maybe I didn't get or whatever and didn't listen to it, maybe that'll change my opinion. But trying
Okay.
to search for them, I found a bunch of stuff and I didn't know which one was them. So
The last album, Magic City Promo, I think is what the last couple singles have been under, if I
okay,
remember
yeah,
correctly.
I did listen to that one.
It's
So
heavy.
it is heavy.
Heavy, heavy.
Yeah, yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah. Um, okay. Number 8 for me. This is a band that I just have never seen. It's a band that I need to see. And so like I want to go and catch their set because I also think that it's gonna be a wild set. And so this is what I'm gonna stand at the back and I'm just gonna watch is Trapped Under Ice.
Okay, so they're on my have to see, and
Cool.
I'm not standing in the back for this. I freaking love Trapped Under Ice, dude. And when they play Pleased to Meet You, yeah, dude, it's about to get real. So
There's a lot of bands on here who I would like to mosh for more than Trapped Under Ice, which is probably gonna
fair.
sound weird to people, but Trapped Under Ice just again, it was not a band that really I caught on to. Like I've listened to Trapped Under Ice, I like Trapped Under Ice, but like I don't know the parts that I should know.
Okay.
And so for that reason, like that's why they're so low on my
Yeah.
list.
So as I've gotten more into like traditional hardcore the last however many years, I've definitely grasped onto that sound. So
Absolutely.
I know the singy parts now to Trapped Under Ice, and
Yeah.
I will be dogpiling for them
And if I did, they
accordingly.
would probably
So
be much higher up on the
yeah,
list for me.
yeah,
So
yeah.
number
I get that.
7, Ends of Sanity.
Oh,
I
dude.
thought their last 2 songs that they put out,
Holy cow.
dude, incredible.
They're so good.
I
They're
am,
so good. This
I am
like
pumped to see them.
yeah. We've talked about it. Like I struggle with metal, but like this metallic, like really metallic, heavy hardcore dude is just they're so good. Like Ends of Sanity is so good. I'm so excited to see them.
Yes. The Not Alone with Advent and Magnitude as the
Yeah,
guest spots, and Magnitude's going to be there. Like, dude, I think that
for
this
sure.
set is going to pop off.
Yeah,
I think
I do
it's going
too.
to be insane. So that's my number 7. Number 6,
I'm so glad that you like Ends of Sanity like that. Oh, they're so good.
dude, I'm pumped. I'm
Yeah.
super pumped for them. Number 6 for me is Magnitude.
Okay.
Again, he was just the guest vocalist on Ends of Sanity and
Uh-huh.
stuff. I've listened to a lot more Magnitude recently, and so I'm pretty stoked to see these guys. They've recently been rolling through, and I've been seeing videos of like the Salt Lake shows, and the
Okay.
Salt Lake shows have looked really dope. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited to catch Magnitude.
they're so good live. And so they're on
Nice.
my middle tier. The
Okay.
only reason is because I just saw them last year. And
I've
so
never seen them.
there's a few other bands on day 3 that I'm going to want to see, but they're one of those that like, if I can catch half the set, I'm going to catch half the set. Cause I really like Magnitude.
Yeah.
Really, really like Magnitude. And they're
Yeah.
so good. They're real good live, dude. It'll be
They're
awesome.
great. I'm pumped for it. My number 5 is Mind Force. Mind
Heck yeah.
Force might have some of the best videos that have come out recently from fests. Like, it's been incredible watching some of their sets, and it has just amped me up. Like, as I go through like the fest sets and stuff, Mind Force typically is one of the first ones I
Yeah.
will look for if they were playing.
Dude, their sound scratches an itch that I've had for a while. Cause like his vocals are very punk and like traditional hardcore, but musically, dude, like their metallic sound is just so good. Like their breakdowns hit, their 2-step parts hit. Like I'm a huge Mind Force fan, and I'm absolutely going to be seeing them. And you know what's funny? You know what I was thinking the other day? I have not seen people get up on stage and like hit down on the crowd
Yeah.
since he called all those people out. So it's like, good for him. I'm going to go support him. I like him. I like his music. Bringing his dad to FYA last year was freaking baller too. Like that
Right.
was sick. Yeah, dude, I'm a
Right.
huge Mind Force fan. All aboard on that one, man.
Nice. Okay. Number 4, this was a nostalgia hit for me, is Comeback Kid.
Okay.
Comeback Kid is a huge nostalgia hit for me. So I used to have the Victory Records sampler that had the different music videos. And I used to have a little box TV in my room with my PlayStation 2. And I'd wait until midnight and I would watch the Wake the Dead music video like over and over. Like,
Dude,
this is like my hardcore introduction was like
right.
Comeback Kid.
Yeah. So I battled with this one because I freaking love Comeback Kid, but I just saw them last year. And so like again, they're like Magnitude. If I can catch half their set, I'm going to. But I just saw them. And so there's a couple other bands that I have to go see. And if they overlap, then I'll just unfortunately have to miss it. So
I haven't seen Comeback Kid since 2011, I think, is when I saw him last.
right.
And that was a weird show. I took my wife was there with me, my then girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it was a weird show. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Comeback Kid.
They're so good.
I'm
And when they play Wake the Dead live, dude, it's like it's everything you wished hardcore was, you know, dogpiling, screaming, like, you know, you told like, what does he say? You said things, or you said this would get better or whatever. And
yeah,
everyone's dogpiling. It's like, yeah, dude, I'm all on board. I hope I can see them. Yeah. So
yeah, cool. Number 3 for me. This is again the one of the bands that's like a little bit of relief is No Pressure.
okay.
I've never seen No Pressure. I love the No Pressure sound. I am very excited to get fast pop punk out at this show with a hardcore group.
Yeah.
I think that this set is going to be really, really fun.
They're so good live too.
Yeah.
So they're on my middle tier just because, again, I just saw them last year with Koya.
Yeah.
So the day 3 is hard for me, man.
I
Because
know.
it's bands that I love. Like it's bands that I have constantly been listening to for the last year and have caught most of them. And I'm really struggling internally about knowing the fact that I'm going to have to miss some of these. So,
Yeah.
but dude,
Yeah.
No Pressure. You can't go wrong, dude.
Absolutely. Number 2, I know that this, well, I should say, I'm assuming that this is going to be one of the can't miss, Incendiary.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Incendiary is up there for me. Ever since like they got announced, I have listened to a ton of Incendiary. They are probably the number 1 band from the Furnace Fest announcement that I've listened to on like a consistent basis that I didn't listen to as much before.
Yeah.
And so like
okay.
I've really, really gotten into them and I freaking love
They're
their
so
sound.
good. Yeah.
Never again, most likely won't see them.
Well, I know. And that's the thing about like them and Mind Force. So the vocalist for Incendiary is like a salesperson for a company in New York,
Sure.
right? Like he's a career professional,
Right.
you know? Jay from Mind Force is like an elementary school teacher. So it's really hard to catch some of these bands because they don't do cross country tours because they actually have, they're
Jobs.
adults and have jobs. And so I'm right on there with you. Like Incendiary came in March, but I was out of town. Right, they came for that festival, and I was really bummed I missed that. But I'm really glad that they're here because they're a band. They're like have become a bucket list band for me because I freaking love their sound. Their last album that came out last year, or the year before, is just incredible.
Yeah,
It's incredible. So
yeah,
right up there with you, dude.
I'm stoked to catch them. And my number one, and this is nostalgia for me, again, I probably shouldn't have put them as number one because we will be seeing them,
Yeah,
but it's Under Oath. I am very excited. It's, from what I gather, a fan voted set. And so I think that what we're going to get is a lot of their bangers.
interesting. I thought it was they're only chasing safety. Is it
Oh,
not?
are they doing their own?
I
You know
might be
what?
wrong.
They might be playing their only chasing safety all the way through, and then they might be doing additional fan voted songs.
Okay.
So I will fight every single person at Furnace Fest if it's not like 90% Define the Great Line as fan voted.
Seriously.
Like, Define the Great Line, Sounds and Separations, like those need to be like what the primary like extra songs are.
If they played their only chasing safety all the way through and then it like stops and then goes right into In Regards to Myself, like,
oh, dude.
I'm not walking out of there alive, dude. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I plan on you are gonna have to like fireman carry me home because I'll be dead.
But also, if they act like they're done, if they act like they're shutting it down and they turn everything off and then click that reel for the last song, I would love for Furnace Fest to end with that song.
In Regards to Myself.
In Regards to Myself.
Yeah, dude.
Click it on right at the end, have one more push, everyone goes wild, couple people go out on an ambulance. There wouldn't be a better way to end the festival than that. So they are my number one just because it is going to be a massive nostalgia hit to finish the night. And I am really, really excited for that. This actually was a hard day for me, even though I said really it was like the top 6 or 7 were like the bands who like I like really want to see. There are a ton who I would have no problem wandering stages and catching. I don't think I'll ever see H2O.
They're on my have to see.
Yeah. I just like I love H2O, but not to the point where like they Slick Shoes was more important to me than H2O was, which a lot of people are going to be like, dude, you're a dumbass. That was my childhood. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, dude, like I love H2O. It's great music. Again, I think it's a band I'm just not going to see again. They're old, And so I think it's like out of respect for the scene that we grew up in, I have to see them.
Yeah.
The other one, though, that I think you're missing and I think you're sleeping on is 18 Visions. That set's going to be nasty, dude.
They were my number 11.
Mean.
Okay. I put that it was them or Norma Jean. And I really think that because they're playing what's the album?
I don't remember.
They're playing an album front to back, and it's the Heart album, Obsession.
Okay.
Right?
I think so.
I think that's the album that they're playing front to back.
I actually didn't know they were playing an album front to back. But it doesn't matter.
I'm pretty
still
sure.
Gonna see him.
And recently Johnny Baseball has been dropping the Tower of Snakes breakdown at the shows and stuff. It's actually got me really excited to see them.
Yeah.
I just wasn't I didn't listen to a ton of 18 Visions back in the day.
Right.
They were a band that kind of slipped by me.
Yeah. I didn't either. But again, keeping with this, idea of bands I'm never going to see again or haven't seen, I have to go see them.
Okay.
I have to go see it.
That makes sense.
Just to finish up real quick, some other bands on like who I would like. So those are all my have to see. Under Oath, TUI, 18 Visions, Ends of Sanity, H2O, Incendiary, Mind Force.
Okay.
Who I would like to see, it would be cool to see Blindside. Like they're all right,
Yeah.
No Pressure, Anxious, Comeback Kid, Drug Church, Magnitude, One Step Closer. I just have seen all these guys in the last year. I hope to
Yep.
catch their sets. I'm not going to be devastated if I can't.
I expect to catch One Step Closer on 4 years, so like
Yeah.
that's why I'm not too worried about it. Drug Church, I'm not a big Drug Church fan.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Two sleeper bands that I would love to see if I can, and we can end on this because it's probably going to piss a lot of people off. Um, the Early November, their new album, dude, is so good.
I have not listened to it yet.
You should go check it out, man. It's real good.
Okay.
It's like heavy on the pop for pop punk,
Sure.
but it's solid. I really like it, and I would like to go catch them because
Okay.
I've been a fan of their new album. The other one is fricking Reggie and the Full Effect. How sick is that going to be, dude?
I debated on that one. that was one where I was like, is that a band where like I need to go see that?
Right.
It is a band that I feel like I probably have to go catch at least one or two songs.
Yeah.
I think
that's where I am.
I think that's what that is for me. In terms of Early November, it's just not the right show for it.
Sure.
I think that Sunday is such a heavy hardcore day that to get out of that mindset, even for a set, is just going to be like it. I don't think I would appreciate the Early November the way I should.
You can't lower your guard. You can't lower your guard because then the next band's going to be like Incendiary. You're just going to get throat punched. Like
exactly. And then one other one, just throwing this out there, Static Dress. They have that very early 2000s post-hardcore feel that's pretty interesting, but they're on the Under Oath tour that's going around after this. Right. I might go catch the Under Oath tour still when it comes through Salt Lake. I'm not really planning on it just because I will have just seen them, but depending on how great they do, I might go catch it, which Static Dress would be there. They're a band who I might just want to see one or two songs of kind of thing as well, but also I'm not heartbroken if I don't see them.
So I don't want to.
You don't even care.
I don't even care.
You don't even care.
I don't even care. That's so fine. I'm sure they're good.
Anxious is the other one that I didn't mention. I just expect I'll be seeing Anxious.
Yeah. So they're honestly, so I've seen them twice. They're honestly one of the better bands that you will see. So it's if there's any chance that we can go see them, you should go see them because it's worth it. So
I absolutely
I get what you're saying. I get what you're
saying. They are definitely a band where it's like if there's 3 bands playing or we could go take a break, I will go see Anxious instead of sitting down.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like I'm not going to cut that set just to take a break out of there. But if they're in line with someone else, I will see someone else before Anxious because I expect I'll see them at some point.
Yeah.
So
this is all cool planning. There's a chance that we just die in the first day and
right.
Can't see any of these bands, right? There's a chance I throw my back out doing like front flipping off the stage and then I'm not gonna see half these bands. So I don't know, dude.
Let's not make that happen. We'll take plenty. We'll take muscle relaxers. We'll take all of the crap.
I've actually got some from the last time I threw my back out that I'm taking with. But my sole like motivation for getting in shape right now is Furnace Fest. Like I've been exercising. I've bought a standing desk. I've been standing for work. I am trying to train my body. And it's funny because people are like, man, like you look good. Like you've lost a little bit of weight and stuff. Like what's going on? I'm like, well, my plan is I need to fight people for 3 days in October. All right. This is it. Right. After that, like I'm going back to being a fat ass. I got to survive Furnace Fest because, I'm never going to be able to do this.
I'm expecting to get a video of like a full on weight cut. Like I want to see the towels, the sweat dripping, the credit card where you're like pushing the moisture off. I expect a weight cut, bro. Like, let's see this happen. So
do it.
No, I'm super pumped. I'm very excited for this. This is going to be like one of like 2 or 3 episodes that we choose to do. So we wanted to do this one going through who we would like to see when the actual lineups get announced, like times and stuff like that. We'll go through and we'll say like, we'll make the hard cuts.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And then I think that we might try to snag someone to hop on with us and get their opinion on just like the ins and outs of Furnace Fest and a few things along those lines.
Yep.
So pretty pumped.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're excited. We're excited to head out of here. So if you guys listen and want to give us crap for cutting bands out, let us know. So we'll argue with you guys too. So
I mean, dude, throw the shade, right? But honestly, think about this. Anyone who's going to throw shade, tell me what your top 10 is, because if you just start throwing shade and then there was 10 other bands you would see before the one band that you're calling us out on, yeah, screw
tell
you,
us.
man.
Yeah, right.
So
I honestly feel like, I don't know. I feel like we have a pretty based opinion here on some of these bands, right? Because I mean, everything I've heard online, a lot of people are pretty close in line with us. I think there might just be a few that maybe we're missing, but like, I don't think people are going to Furnace Fest to catch Static Dress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that Static Dress is there because Under Oath is there. Like that's
right.
why.
So yeah. But cool. Stay tuned, man. If you guys are looking forward to Furnace Fest stuff too, stay tuned because we're gonna have a bunch of material on it. We're gonna film as much as we can when we're out there and hopefully catch a few bands or something too that we can.
And hit us up if you're going.
Yeah, hit us up if you're going.
People in person.
Yeah, and I have more people to carry me out of the place when I'm dead. So
sick. Okay, this was fun. We'll catch you next week.
Yep. See you, man.
Peace.